Hey folks, it's Tom and Frugal Prepper. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the canning lid shortage and what I'm doing and what's going on. So I have always avoided the Tattler lids. I saw a video on YouTube a long time ago. If I can still find it, I'll post a link down to it. Guy was pulling his stuff out of the pressure canner and he went to tighten the ring down, and this jar was already hissing and spewing out steam. It looked like it was a volcano getting ready to explode. I wouldn't have touched that jar. But he reaches down there with this pot holder and goes to tighten that lid immediately after withdrawing it from the canner. And the lid exploded off. It burnt the crap out of him. It gave him like second and third degree burns up his arm. And I've heard other people talk about this phenomenon happening with Tattler lids. And I've always just thought, I'm just going to store plenty of the regular lids so I can get through a shortage. And I'm not even going to mess with it. It just doesn't seem safe, right? But this canning lid shortage has really gotten me to thinking. Now, I had well over 20,000 lids stored up last year at the beginning of this shortage. I gave quite a few away to people at work and people around and people that I know. And so I'm down to about 13,000 now. But I still have enough. I probably use 150 to 200 lids per canning season. So I have enough for years. But I got to thinking, what am I going to do if there is a real extended outage and I have to expand my garden, expand my growing, use all the spots in my yard that I can to grow as much food as possible, and I need to really preserve it and put it away. And I break out my reserve canning jars and I start putting away 900, 1,000 jars of food every year. Well, that's not going to last me nearly as long, And so I kind of got to thinking, like, what's the long-term solution? Well, the Tattler lids are reusable. And I've watched a lot of videos about them not sealing, but I've seen them seal every time I've used them. So here is a picture. Here are some pictures of my using them. So this is just like my first 12 lids that I tried. I washed the rings off. The rubber rings, I wash the lid, I clean the jar. I don't even preheat them. I see a lot of people say to heat them up in water. I don't do that. I put them on the jar, I tighten them down really tight. Then I loosen them up, I back them off, I stick my finger in the middle of the lid and then tighten the ring until the jar spins. And it makes a perfect seal every time. I have had a higher success rate with these Tattlers than I have with ball canning lids. So I think that the Tattler lids really work. Now, it's confusing. On their website, I'll show you a picture of it here. You see in the middle it says to tighten them immediately after removal from the canner on these little instructions in the middle. But you see up in the paragraph up here above, it says wait 2 to 3 minutes. Which is it, Tattler? Which is it? I wait 2 to 3 minutes and make sure that the jars have settled down a little bit before I go tightening on them. And I am going to get some of those gloves. I think that'll help a lot rather than trying to use towels and pot holders, which is, if something goes wrong, having that coverage up over my arm and hand would be good. But I really just haven't had any problems. They seal up really well. In fact, normally by the time I get back around to tighten that ring, it's already concave. It's already got a vacuum on it and it's sealed. So I think that the Tattler lids seem to be working out great. So I ordered another dozen regular mouth and 2 dozen more of the wide mouth. And on their website here, you can see like it's a little bit cheaper if you come down here and order them in a 100 pack or a 50 pack or whatever, but not that much cheaper, and the shipping is free. So you can just go out here and for $10.50 or $11, you can just go out here and just order a pack at a time. It gives you a chance to keep trying them out and working with them, make sure you like them before you invest a bunch of money. And it's not that much more just to buy them a few at a time over time. So For stuff that I might give away or sell, I'll definitely use the non-reusables. Um, when I sell stuff, I usually charge a deposit of 50 cents for my jar. When they bring my jar back, they get 50 cents. At the very least, if it's family or friends, I tell them, like, if you don't bring me back my empty jar, I can't refill it with more good stuff to give to you. So that you get your jars back, right? And I just, I try to do that. I try to get as many of my jars back as I can, but usually when you give things away, you don't get your jar back. People don't realize that, you invest money in jars and you want to keep them. But I think the Tattler lids are working out great for me. I know that other people have problems with them sealing. Some people say, oh, I don't use them when I can meat, and I don't use them for this. But I think you could use them to can just about anything at all. I don't think there's any problems with them at all. You don't have to deal with them rusting. So I think in high acid things, if you get a scratch on that lid, it can rust on the inside. You don't have to worry about that with these. So I think actually your food might store a little bit longer with them. But the only thing that kind of sucks is they don't ping. They just kind of go concave, and then you pick them up by the lid. Make sure that they sealed. Pick them up by the lid after you take the ring off. And the only other thing is you can't write on them with the Sharpie because you reuse them. So I got some dissolvable labels on Amazon really cheap that you can just stick on the top and write the date and what's in it or what kind it is. Write that on there and stick it on the shelf and you're good to go. And they dissolve in water so they won't stick to the lid or anything. So I think that's good. I did order a couple dozen of the Harvest Guard lids to try those, but they're on back order forever. So but Tattler does have them in stock right now. You can go buy them. So if you need to do some canning and you don't have any lids, it'd be a good time to try out some Tattlers. You can get them. They'll be at your door in a few days, and it's free shipping. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. It's time for Frugal Prepper. Everybody, be happy, be frugal, live life, and enjoy time with your family, and realize that it doesn't matter what other people think. Don't worry about what other people think. The only people that matter what you think are the people that you're close with. Other than that, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. It's time for Frugal Prepper.